Hey everyone, it is Sam, and before we get to today's episode, I just have a little bit of business that I want to go over. So first, this is not the we hosted MINNOW TANK for our listeners episode. We are postponing the recording of that, so if you want to be on that episode, you still have time to fill out that Google form. Again, you can find it at linktr.ee/teenfinancepod. The second thing is if you are a regular listener of this podcast, remember to subscribe, follow, download, whatever it is on your podcasting platform of choice. It helps us out a lot, and you'll see the episode show up in your library and then, so it's a win-win. The last thing is if you have been enjoying this podcast, please remember to leave a review. We'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get to the episode. I hinted at this in the episode where I was talking about retiring early, and I said that we talked about it in future episodes. This is perfect. There is a way that while you're in your, in your 20s, you can do this on afterwards, but while you're in 20s, there's a way where you can save probably 70% of your income. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of the Teen Finance Podcast. As you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, we have video now. So that's exciting as a little 10th
you get to look at us for
gift.
45 minutes.
Now it's even more fun. So, today we got a fun little episode planned. We're going to go over although our podcast is called Teen Finance, a lot of the time we venture off more into like the business realm and stuff than, maybe we should if we're trying to stick with like what our podcast is actually called. So today we're going back to the roots. We're talking about finance, and we're going to start off by talking about banks a little bit and how the money in your bank account does not exist. So, Maseo, what do you know about like how modern banks work and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I think I watched a YouTube video on this a while ago, but it's like the money you put into your bank account, they give out when they give out loans to people, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, it's like that's the basic like how banks work. But now the thing is, banks will give out money which as loans, which means that they're not giving out their own money. They're giving out money that people store in their accounts. And a lot of the times, or actually like all the time, the money that you see in your bank account is not there. So the rule of thumb basically is for most banks, only about 25% of the money that like they see with like numbers in people's bank accounts is actually there. The rest of it is, it's out, like it's other people's money too in the form of loans. So basically the money doesn't exist. If everyone wanted to pull out their money into hard cash all at once, the world would collapse, but that's never going to happen because no one's ever going to do that. Hopefully
We should collapse the entire world.
Yeah, maybe if this podcast gets big enough, as in like everyone in the world listens to it, then we can all pull out our money at once and we can collapse the economy.
We can organize an economy takedown.
That'd be pretty fun.
I think we should do
Powell
it.
would be mad at us?
No.
Jerome?
No, it's fine.
It's fine. All right.
Understandable.
We're just like doing it. But I don't know. That's how like banks work. For people who like never understood like why banks like, when you put your money in, you get like there's like an interest rate and stuff. Like when you put your money into the bank, that money is going to work in like investments, or you're giving it's given out in the form of loans to other people, and you're basically getting a cut of that, because when you notice when you put your money in the bank, you get interest, but when you take a loan from the bank, you have to pay interest. So when you're putting money in the bank, like you're just and they give you like if they pay you interest, you're just getting a cut of that interest that like someone else is paying.
Yeah, you get the whole 0.1%, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We don't like. Like you can put your money in a savings account. It's just gonna sit there. Like the interest you're seeing is not gonna keep up with inflation. But
yeah,
I don't know. You should probably
stock market,
invest.
Is typically a sure bet, but it's kind of looking like it might not be right now. If we actually fall into another recession.
Yeah, But at the same time, like you should just be thinking long term anyway. So
That's
I don't
true.
know, load up on your index funds and stuff, and you should be fine. And we'll talk about that mentality stuff in a second. But yeah, I don't know. I think the other like last night someone was asking me like what brokerage I use, and I think a lot of people might, unless you listen to like the first episode of this podcast, which is actually like a while ago now,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know. I use Schwab. Maseo uses TD.
TD. Yeah.
Yeah. Schwab bought TD, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't, but they're still operating as separate companies, to my knowledge.
They're separate, but now whenever I log in, it says TD and then there's Schwab right next to it.
Okay.
So it's like they're somewhat incorporated.
Yeah. Basically, if you're gonna start investing, especially as a teen, the only two brokerages you should consider are Schwab and Fidelity, because I mean TD is just Schwab at this point. Anything else, like I don't know. There's a lot of these new startups that are trying to like do more like parent-kid investing. A lot of them like have like mobile apps and places where you can get like debit cards and all that. They're not real brokerages. Like they're probably all through like other brokerages. So like yeah, kind of like Robinhood. I don't know. I'd recommend getting a real one where you can like open a Roth IRA or something like that later on, which you should.
Yeah.
Everyone, open your Roth IRAs when you turn 18. But yeah, I don't know. I think you should just choose a real broker that you'll be able to use for life, because I mean you're making a custodial account and that was like my sister. She just she not just turned 18, like she turned 18 a little while ago, and like we're like in the process of like converting her account over to her own one. So yeah, I don't know. It's just better than doing it through like some weird app. I don't know, having someone established. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, there's a lot of those weird apps.
There's so many.
I get so many ads for like these random apps. I'm like, there's no way all these are real.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're that good. I don't think there's too many of them. In 10 years, I think a lot of them won't be here anymore. But I don't know, just opinion. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about. I want to talk a little bit about the mentality of losing money in the markets, especially since we're heading into uncertain times, possible recessions on the horizon. I just want to tell a little story. So when I first started investing, probably around 2 years ago, right? Something like that, Maseo?
Yeah, probably around there.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit after, yeah.
I think it was around 2 years ago. I think it was like or a little under 2 years ago, like November of 2020 or something like that. When I first got it, like I was addicted to buying individual stocks, and specifically high risk, high volatility biotech stocks. So biotech stocks, this whole area of businesses and startups is basically there's a biotech company that promises to have the cure for cancer or some other like terrible disease, and they always have like this new drug or something that they're working on, and basically the stock gets hyped up until you're waiting on news basically that they get like FDA approved or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times that I like bought one of these stocks because someone on StockTwits said that it was going to 10x, and then I like put money in it, but really not that much money. Most of the time it was like $50, but it would like be enough to be like I'd like wake up in a cold sweat. No, but it was terrible. I'd be like in the shower and I'd be like refreshing the price. It's terrible. And I'd lose money every single time.
Yeah. As when I first invest.
Good.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's like when I first started investing, like maybe 3 years ago, two and a half maybe. But like I would buy all these like shit stocks off of Reddit and like Wall Street Bets and all these different and like Discord, like stock discords. And
stock discords are cursed.
Yeah,
$20 by the way.
Yeah, join ours.
Um,
Yeah, no, I would be in all of them, and then like I would like literally wake up at 6 a.m. every single day and just be like spam refreshing my thing for like 30 minutes. Like if every time I was doing anything that like I didn't need full attention for, I'd be watching my stocks and refreshing the page, just because I
yeah.
was so terrified of losing money. And it was never that
The
much. It was like, yeah,
yeah. But the classic thing
yeah,
is
yeah.
is waking up at 6 a.m. for market open. I did that
Yep.
way too many times. Like I'd
Me
wake up
too.
before school because I thought it was so important that I wake up at market open to see what happens to my like $50.
Yep.
And yeah, not worth it. So moral of the story is don't go buying individual stocks. But now we're gonna kind of get into like our mentality of like losing money. So I think whenever you're investing, especially in like individual stocks or something like that, you're gonna have like, ups and downs. But this is unavoidable, even if you like put all your money in index funds. Like it's gonna happen. And it's been happening recently. So in the past, I don't know, week or something like that. We went up a little bit, and we had like a moment where it's like maybe this will all be okay, but I mean no, like long term the economy is like still in an iffy spot. So then I don't know. I think in the past week I've lost a couple $100. Not too much, not too bad, but like
Yeah,
a decent chunk of my portfolio has gotten wiped, but it's not terrible.
I've lost a massive chunk. I'm down a lot this week
Yeah.
with all my
This week's
Chinese
been
stocks.
yeah, it's been rough. So how do you get through these? How do you cope? Why are you not like crying right now? I know you are inside, but like
You just don't look. I don't know.
True.
My trick is like I look at it.
No,
and I
honestly,
just
not
kinda,
looking is the way to go.
yeah, because if I look at it, I'm gonna sell or I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna like do something out of panic, and that's a
Exactly.
totally natural response of trying to save your money. But you don't need to do that. Just like if you have faith in the stock, just let it go. And if you don't have faith and you're already down a ton, it's probably too late. Might as well wait.
Yeah,
Like,
so a good like you should not be buying stocks on whims and stuff like that. If a stock crashing up to like 20% since the time you bought it is enough to like sway you into being like, "Oh, should I sell?" You obviously don't believe in this company long term.
yeah,
So you shouldn't have bought it in the first place. Like you should when you're buying a stock, you have to be like, okay, if this goes up or down in value, like when you see that 20% drop, you should just be thinking, hooray, I can buy more at a lower price. Like you should really only buy companies that you genuinely believe in their longevity, unless you're like trying to do some crazy swing play, which you should not be trying to do anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of personal experience with swing trades, and it's like they don't work. Also, there's a little like thing I want to talk about really quick is all those like all those stock discords and gurus you see on TikTok that just advertise these companies you've never heard of. They only make money because you go and buy the stock.
Dude,
They don't. Those aren't good trades. They're not real. It's just
yeah.
you. Yeah, you play into their game.
Dude, when I see those TikToks, I'll go into the comments. Like when if people, so this is the classic thing. You have a guy with his phone, okay, and he's filming his computer screen, and it has like a screenshot of like Wall Street Bets or something on it, or I mean a screenshot of like someone's portfolio that like it's not even theirs, and they're like,
Yep.
I quit my job, or like I dropped out of high school and I just like trade stocks now, and
Yep.
I'm a gazillionaire and you can be like me too. And then and then it's like them like on a vacation in like a rental house or something like that. Yeah, none of them are real, and I always feel so bad because I see people in the comments being like, I'm new to investing, like how can I start, or like how can I get into this? I should just like say like, oh, go listen to Teen Finance Pod, but
There's a
yeah.
Teen Finance podcast, so we're not
I
like
should
really
just
that
plug.
centered on that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because we don't believe in that.
It's
straight up.
always this picture right here.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
that's
that
all they
picture.
show.
It's
The
that
other
picture on
one?
everything. It just shows straight up, nothing else.
All right.
It just shows up.
The other one that I hate is they have like they're on their screen and they're showing like they're making noises like doop 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 doop. like they're like making like they're showing like different like shapes that like graphs are making, which is like their technical analysis, you know. Technical analysis and like trying to look for like shapes on graphs. It's astrology for the stock market, like straight up.
Yeah, it's not possible. I guess you can kind of expect something will like explode, like go up a bit if it was dumped like 1,000 shares at once.
Yeah.
But besides that, there's like
what they do. They'll be like, oh look, it's making the shape of a pennant, and if the pennant is angled up 10 degrees, that means the stock is going to go down. If the pennant's angled down 10 degrees, that means the stock's going to go up. And they're like trying to sell you like an Amazon, like a print by Amazon, like Kindle Direct Publishing book on this for sure.
Yeah, they're sitting here. They have their little chart, right? And they go, here we go. It goes up. And then oh no, it's not blurred. And they're like, oh, you see right here? I mean, this consolidating for breakout, and it's going to go. No.
Yeah.
That's probably very blurry, but no, it's not happening.
Yeah, those TikToks, and the thing is, people are just like, how do I start? Like, people buy it, which is terrible. This is why we run this pod. This is why, Maseo.
Yeah, we should just go in the comments of all those videos and plug our podcast.
Yeah, I know. We should be like, this is where you get the real knowledge, man.
Yeah, if you really want to know, come talk to these two high schoolers.
Yeah, but I don't know. So really, like the mentality is that you just have to be thinking long term. You have to realize that these things write out most of the time, and if you go into a recession, it's terrible. It's gonna be a lot of hardship, but I don't know. Recessions are where millionaires are made, right? Is that what they say?
And it's almost always gonna be okay in the end if you don't make any like big plays, because like if you look at it from 2008 when the economy was like so high, it was peaking, and then crashed so far down. Now we're 5 times above that.
Exactly.
So like long term, everything will be okay, even when it feels like the whole world's in shambles. It's like guaranteed to be all right.
Yeah, I think we can talk about dollar cost averaging real quick. Should we lay out our ideal? Like, let's just lay out like an idea, like this is what you do if you have $1,000 and this is how to invest it. Should we say $1,000? Is that reasonable? Or is that right? Like,
you can go 500.
Okay, 500. So you have $500. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to Schwab or Fidelity. You're gonna open a custodial account, and then you're gonna take that $500 and at every month, I don't know, pick your favorite number 1 through 30. And on that day of every month, as long as it's like a weekday and the market is open, you are going to buy, how much money did we say you have? $500.
$500.
You're gonna buy $50 worth of a broad market ETF or index fund, and then you're gonna do that for 10 months, and hopefully in 10 months you have more money to put in. So no matter where the market is on that day, like no matter where it is, if it's like on the floor, if it's in the sky, if it's just like doing okay, no matter what, you're gonna put in money then.
Yeah.
Just $50. And you're gonna hold yourself to that indefinitely. And you're only gonna buy like index funds and stuff, unless there's a stock you really like that you really want to get.
And you wanna explain the whole dollar cost with that? Like the
it's like the idea of dollar cost averaging is just that you put in your money over a longer period of time. So you're averaging out where the market is. So then over like when you're going over that longer period of time, you can avoid like the volatility because it's averaged out, like all the gains that you're gonna get. And that's a way to mitigate risks. Instead of, let's say if you dumped all your $500 in on the first day and then it just went like, that was like the highest point in the market for a while, then you'd be like screwed. So it's a way to mitigate that risk.
That's true.
I don't know. It's a good strat. That's what I've been trying to do. The thing is, I kind of like, I did it over like the course of a week instead of a year because I'm impatient, but
yeah, you see, that's what I should do. But instead, I find stocks that I see on the front page of Google and articles about them, and I read them, and they get me hyped up on them. And I go and I put a bunch of money into them. And then I
bought
usually
Microsoft stock recently.
That's good. Yeah, no,
I remember talking about that. We were talking about that like a couple things ago. So I actually followed through. I couldn't for some reason I couldn't buy like a fractional share, so I just got like one full share. It wasn't terrible. It was like 200 something bucks.
That was the Kiss Mary Kill episode.
Yeah, that was when we were talking
Yeah.
about how much I like Microsoft, and I don't know. My technical analysis boiled down to their CEO seems pretty cool. Microsoft Azure seems to be doing great, and
Yeah.
GitHub, which Microsoft owns, GitHub Copilot is kind of lit because it's like AI that codes for you. And I
Really?
don't know. I think AI coding for you, that's going to be worth so much in the future. That's like
So what? How does that work? You just like tell it what to do.
All right.
and it-
So GitHub Copilot, GitHub is like a place where developers upload their code and projects and people work on their stuff. So because Microsoft owns GitHub, and GitHub has this huge they have so much code, like so much code that people have uploaded to it and posted and to like show off and all that. So what they do is they like look through that code with like robots, and that like they use AI to analyze the code, and then they can like see common coding practices, and then you can use that to like make a robot code for you. So you can kind of like tell it what to do, but it'll do most of the work for you, so you can just be way more productive if
That's
you're a developer.
crazy. Yeah.
So for like, I mean, I'm sure people are still gonna need to know how to like. There's gonna be some people that need to know like how it works. But like, I see a future where like any person can like just like code because of features like this.
Yeah.
You know, like things like Copilot. Of course, there's always gonna need to be like someone to code the coding bot.
The AI. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Yeah. Because earlier, me and my dad were talking about how like if you want to make money, like if you want to like get rich almost quick, you have to make a software that competes with a big company and then have them buy you out.
Yeah.
Like Adobe. Have you heard about the company they just bought from that 30-year-old kid or guy?
they just bought someone for $20 billion. Was
$20
it?
billion.
Yeah.
And what
I
they
heard
were,
about.
they were just-
I don't know. I don't know what the thing they
So,
bought is, but
what I think that it was just a direct competitor to all Adobe software, like the whole suite. I'm pretty sure it
Oh,
was a competitor
Figma.
to them. Yeah, Figma.
what is?
Yeah, but it's owned by a 30-year-old guy, so he is now a billionaire.
That's crazy. Okay, so
He-
I see.
he only owned,
Figma's
like,
like
10% of
Adobe
his company.
Illustrator type thing, right?
Yeah, it's like Adobe Illustrator, but it has like more like AI features, I think,
Okay.
and it does some things better than Illustrator. And so they bought them out, and they're gonna like put all of the features from Figma, right?
Yeah.
From Figma into Adobe Illustrator in the Adobe suite.
Yeah.
And that was
Adobe's
just because-
huge, man.
And
They're
all it
a
was
big
is
company.
he competed with them. He threatened
Yeah.
them, and they bought him out.
They don't want to risk it. I mean,
No.
no, that's what you got to do. You got to find. I mean, I bet. Do you think they had Adobe buying them as like a target from day one?
Probably not.
Maybe.
If you
Or,
go
like
in the
they were
same
going
like
up against them.
they're going in the same areas, then maybe they wanted just
Yeah.
to steal all their clients.
Yeah, for
But I-
straight up. Adobe's
no one
expensive,
knows-
man. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder how much their overhead is because they're really just a software company, and each subscription is like so much money.
For Adobe, I don't know.
So-
It's all software though. It's like you just get a bunch of like
They
software.
charge a
engineers.
lot, and people buy it, man. Like,
Everyone buys it, dude. Like every company has has an Adobe suite.
yeah.
Every company.
What's their revenue?
It has to be insanely high. And then the thing about them though is that they like guarantee recurring customers. It's not like
Okay.
it's like you can't
Wait.
just buy like one and done anymore. You can't buy keys. You have to buy a recurring subscription to every suite.
Yeah, like I think they used to do okay, wait, their annual revenue for 2021 was like $16 billion. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Yeah, so they pull in a lot of money. It's software as a service, man. SaaS, it's a thing. SaaS is
I
big.
know. Wait, what's SaaS? A software as a service.
Software
Is that what it is?
as a service, yeah. That's what like a lot of companies do. That's like what HubSpot does. That's what like I guess Salesforce is kind of SaaS. I don't know. Yeah, I think, well, we just bought. Okay, I was about to say I don't like buying software because I don't like, it's not like a tangible product, but at the same time, we just
We're on
got
Riverside right now.
we just got new software for the pod, so maybe not.
Yeah, new pod software.
Maybe we are
And
guilty.
now you get to look at all of us. So
Yeah.
lucky you guys, right?
All right, Maseo, let's
Yep.
go on to what you wanted to talk about, how business owners' kids can get free money.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was kind of looking into this, and I've been talking to my dad about different tax exemptions and tax write-offs you can do with like the
Dude,
power
getting a
company.
good CPA is so OP.
No,
like you'll
it's so
save so
true.
much money. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
And basically we were looking at all these things, and there's like ways you can write off a ton of money against cars. You can write off mileage on your cars.
Really?
You can write off depreciation. Yeah. Like every year, if you can average out the depreciation on your car, you can write it off against your taxes for
Mhm.
company vehicles. But we were looking at this one, and I can't find the exact name, but it's kind of tied into it's called the TCJA, which is the Tax Increase and Job Association, Jobs Act.
Mhm.
Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Okay, I was really off. But what it does basically is it allows you to pay your kids as an independent, and if they're an independent under 18, they don't pay taxes on any of the money that you pay them, up to $12,800 every year. And all you have to
yeah.
say is that your kids are doing work for your company. And this money
Which
is
you can
completely-
totally do if you can make your kid actually work for your company.
Yeah, and you
Which
can give them
would be
money,
like the
or
real, yeah.
you could just be taking the money and throwing it in a savings account for them. Or if you want to be dirty, you could take it for yourself. But yeah, your 2-year-old wouldn't know, would they?
Hey, don't let the IRS catch you doing this though.
Yeah, just do it. Don't be caught. But
Yeah.
the whole like making your kids
This is
work
wait,
for you
we're
is totally
not
legit.
saying this. Wait, hold up. We did not say any of that. We did not tell you
You're
to do
right.
anything. Only do this if you're actually working for your parents' company and you're actually
Yeah.
doing work.
But if you do any work for your parents' company, they're allowed to pay you. I think it's $1,080 every month, and that'll be written off from their taxes. So it's whatever money they owe in taxes that's deducted from what they owe.
Yeah.
And so it really
How much
is,
do businesses pay in tax? I feel like $12,000 is like getting up to all your getting up there close to like all your taxes for a small business.
yeah, well, it depends how much the business makes.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can just write off whatever. If you don't make, or like if your taxes aren't 12,000, you could still write off. I think you could still just write off
it's
that
just,
amount
wait,
and
it's
pay
a
it.
write off, right? It's not like it's
No, it's
not
a tax.
like you're just
I
taking,
think it's a tax
it's-
deduction.
it's a deduction.
I think it's a deduction.
That's crazy if it's a
Yeah.
deduction. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's a deduction.
That's wild. Yeah.
And so I think technically, if you had to pay $6,000 in taxes at the end of the year, you could just put that full $6,000 into your kid's salary.
Really?
I think
Maybe. It might be a write off.
maybe, or it's a write-off.
Seems too good to be true. But if it's a write off, that's
But if it's a
still good.
write-off and your company still brings in good revenue, that's really not that big of a deal. And
Yeah.
That's pre-tax money you can get out of the company without paying
Yeah.
taxes on it and without being taxed on the income.
What if someone just like started a business? Actually, what if you like started a business for yourself just so you can like write stuff off?
You
can,
get to
like,
make money to write off stuff.
I guess it can't
that's
just
the
come
whole
from your
problem.
salary. That's what I was thinking.
No. Well,
Like, can you say like I'm Sam Crane Incorporated. My revenue is like my salary from my job, and my expenses are my.
this is like tax fraud. I think that's
Yeah, I
like
know.
probably super
Dude.
illegal.
Tax evasion's terrible. Don't do it, everyone.
Yeah, no, it'll
So
catch up
bad.
to you. But
Yeah.
I guess if you were no, you can't. There's no you can write off your salary
That's
from your
not a
job
thing. I just made that up. I
as
was
a
just
business.
like,
unless hear me out. Unless you work in like landscaping or any kind of maintenance and you're getting paid in cash, like contracting.
just
or-
stop. We have to stop. No one do tax evasion. Okay, seriously.
No tax evasion.
You can do legal. There's legal ways to lower your taxes a lot. the easiest way to do that is whenever okay, if you listen to this pod, when you're older, get a CPA. Like you can save a lot of money in taxes if you just have like a good CPA. Like you'll save more than they cost. So
Yeah.
recommend. This is a
Don't
plug
do
for
tax
Ben's
evasion,
mom.
but it's very easy
She's
to
a
do.
CPA. Shut up.
I'm joking.
All right. Let's see. What else can we hop into? Should we just do some actually, okay. Do you want to do some creator business analysis right now since we have like 10 minutes left?
I don't know what you mean by that, but enlighten me.
Okay. So, let's this is kind of going off topic from this episode, but it's all right. Actually, I don't know. What do you think? Should we say this for a different episode or should we do this now?
I don't know what
Like
it is.
I was
to
going
be
to talk
honest.
about like creators and like some business stuff, but we could also like stay more on the finance side. Up to you.
I don't know. Maybe let's stick to finance.
Okay. We could talk about we'll save that for a different episode because I have an interesting story about a dude perfect thing that I saw happening. If you watch their latest video, you might know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Let's talk about okay, I got one.
Okay.
Let's talk about a way how you can save a lot of money while you are young. So I hinted at this in the episode where I was talking about retiring early. And I said that we talked about it in future episodes. This is perfect. There is a way that while you're in your, I don't know, in your 20s, you can do this on afterwards. But while you're in 20s, there's a way where you can save probably 70% of your income. All right. So the idea, it's called being a digital nomad. So basic idea is that you're working a remote job. So something that you can do from like anywhere in the world. And preferably your remote job allows you to work internationally. So you can be in a different country. And then the idea is that you go work in a different country. The trend mainly started with like people going to places like Bali in Indonesia. You could go somewhere in like the Philippines. You just want to go somewhere where the cost of living is really low. And then, I mean, you're paying that cost of living, but you're making an American salary. So you're going to be making like $100,000 when you're spending like, I don't know, $10,000 to live or something like that. And you get to live and you get to like travel and see other cultures and do all that. So I don't know. I think it's gaining ground now. More people are doing it as remote work expands.
Yeah. I mean, that seems totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Why? And also, like, you get a crazy experience too if you're not just stuck at home, or not at home, but I guess you're stuck in a house in a city or something. And I guess another way you could do that too would be living with your parents, but that's a lot less fun. So.
Yeah. No. Living. Okay, that's off the table. We're doing.
No. Those people, you want to be
I
gone.
think.
Get your own experience.
Yeah, no, but if you can like do this for like, I don't know, at least like a couple months a year, not like, and you can just like not rent out your place for a little while. If you can just like live light with not a ton of stuff, then you can do this, and you can just you'll meet like the main. It's of course it's not like too good to be true. I mean it kind of is, but it's not. Like the main drawbacks are that you can't do this. You can't like live there. You can't be there like for most of the year because then you're like essentially a non-tax paying resident, and then you're not like working in the US. But yeah, so you can't do this like all the entire year. It gets very difficult to do so if you want to keep like working in the US and you're not like living there. Like the United States doesn't mess with that, obviously. So you can't do this like the whole year most of the time. There might be workarounds. Like you can definitely do. I'm not an expert on this. So there's a lot more research that you can do into this. If this sounds cool to you. But yeah, like there's definitely like, I mean, you can't work in a different country and like have a job, and that's just not how it works. Like they don't want you doing that. Then and everyone would do that, you know?
Yeah.
So there's limits to it. The other thing is that it's hard to do this if you have a family. So this is definitely something you want to do when you're younger. Like you're gonna want to settle down probably later on. So This is not something that you do indefinitely unless you really want to. Other thing is that I get lonely.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like you're
Yeah.
leaving kind of all your friends and also
Exactly.
family
So-
behind, and it's like maybe if you have like a significant other, that'd be a little more
That's
fun.
the main thing. If you have a significant other who also works remotely, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
but
that seems like the only
otherwise-
way it'd really be not depressing.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
can
mean,
go-
the
you
experience
can-
on your own is cool, but
Yeah. You can travel to places where, like, if you have international friends, you could go, like, meet up with people. Of course, there's a whole community of digital nomads. So, in that way, you can, like, meet new people and meet new friends in areas. Like, I think Bali now is, like, completely overrun with digital nomads, which is kind of
yeah,
weird. I don't know
I've heard
the
it's gotten
ethics of
really
that.
expensive. Like it's
I'm
not
yeah.
super cheap anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, like, at that point, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, this may be considered unethical because then you're going and you're like, I don't know. I guess you're not really stealing their jobs because you're working a job in a different
And
country.
you are contributing to the economy too. It's not
Yeah,
like
you are. Yeah, okay. So
It's not like you aren't living
actually
there.
not terrible.
No. It's just
yeah,
you're not
just-
paying. Like
You're not paying taxes there. That's the main
Yeah.
thing.
but-
So,
so,
but I don't know.
I guess.
It almost like even if like there's a way that you could like pay taxes to a country that you're living in, that would like still be worth it, paying like double taxes, double income tax, but you get to like have that lower cost of living.
Yeah.
It almost like still like the math would probably work out.
Or
I
just
don't know.
evade taxes, but just kidding.
Yeah,
Just
right?
kidding. No tax fraud. No tax fraud.
Yeah, I think even if like there's a lot of I listened to a podcast by Ali Abdaal on this when he interviewed one of his digital nomad friends, and there's a whole new there's this company that's basically trying to make like a digital country where you get benefits possibly in the future. I don't know. It's just like this is almost like a MINNOW TANK idea. I think there's one company already working on this where that person in the episode worked. But like I don't know, a digital country where you can get like a passport of some sort, like because when you think about it, paying taxes is basically like you're paying a subscription service to the country you live in for
Yeah.
services like roads, if you live anywhere but the US, healthcare, other like things like schooling, like public schools, literally anything like that, any infrastructure, anything set up by the government, you're paying taxes. It's like, think about it like a subscription service. So the idea of a digital country would be like, instead of paying this to like a government of a country that has physical land, it's just like done digitally. So you can get like a passport of some sort, and you get services like healthcare, but it's all like outsourced to. It's like a country without land. It's not physical. It's a digital country.
That sounds like a way to evade taxes as well. But
No, I mean,
is it not?
yeah,
Is it not just a workaround to paying taxes of?
well, you'd
you
have to
live?
pay taxes in the way of you're paying this country, this digital country that probably has to end up paying large fees to like the physical countries that they work with. So you would still pay taxes.
Yeah.
You're just doing it in a different way because you're paying it in the form of your subscription service that is going to the countries that are hosting.
Oh, that's a cool concept. I remember.
It sounds. I was listening to that. I'm like, this is a good idea, man. This is cool.
Yeah, I remember there was talks of. Remember when the Metaverse was relevant?
Yeah.
Remember that piece
Yeah.
of time. Yeah, before
Yeah,
it just.
a little while
I
ago.
don't know where it is now, but it was like people were talking about paying taxes in the Metaverse, and the different places in the Metaverse, and how you could reroute your like income tax into the Metaverse because you live somewhere else in the Metaverse. And it was like it seemed like an interesting concept. Now almost sounds like what you're talking about, just
Yeah.
way more reasonable.
Yeah.
Just more reasonable and doable.
I think in a way, it would almost make countries themselves have to do better to compete. You know, this is so free market of me. Sorry, but they would have to like if companies start doing this, creating digital countries, it would force normal physical countries to kind of like compete and spend their money wisely to make sure that the money that people are paying in tax is actually going towards real benefits for their citizens.
Yeah, or they could just make them illegal.
It's true.
That's
true.
the other side to it.
They could do that. That'd be lame though. I feel like if there's enough support, the thing that I think could be cool is I think some countries already do this.
Really?
Is some like countries, they use their some tiny island nations. I think Trinidad and Tobago is one of them, where you literally can buy citizenship and you can get a passport.
Oh yeah.
So this is Amar from Yes Theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what he did because he had his old problems when he left Egypt and stuff, and they wouldn't let him go, and he couldn't leave the United States. Same thing with David Dobrik, right, or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. He's from Turkey.
Slovenia or Slovakia or one of those.
Okay.
So he what he did was, I think he just was here for long enough. But what Amar did is he bought citizenship to Trinidad and Tobago so then he could travel.
Yeah. And that's it was like $100,000, right? Wasn't that the big thing in the video?
Something like that. So it's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. But there's companies that will help people find out the different countries that are selling their passports basically, and they'll point you to the right direction and everything. But I don't know. I think countries could almost do this whole digital passport, digital citizenship thing. If they're somewhat of a small, irrelevant country that doesn't have much land, that you're buying the citizenship even though you have no intention of actually living in the place. Maybe you live there for a couple months every year or something if you need to. But yeah, I see this being a business for countries almost.
No, it's probably great for smaller countries that don't have as much money coming in.
They can get more relevance.
Yeah. And they could just improve the country to make it more desirable, I guess.
For existing citizens too, they'll probably benefit from this. You've all your economy is being stimulated by it's giving money to the government that they can I don't know, possibly lower taxes for the citizens that actually live there. This is what there's all sorts of weird income sources for nations. There's the island nation of Tuvalu, which makes half a third of their government income from selling their domain, which is .tv, to things Twitch.tv. That .tv just stands for Tuvalu, which is a tiny country in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that just makes so much money by sending out the use of their domain, which is sick. It's
that's crazy.
Okay, that's epic. We have .us in the United States. Canada's .ca or whatever. And Tuvalu TV, yeah. So they kind of scored with that, and they make a lot of money.
That seems more luck, though, right?
It is kind of luck, but there's a lot what are we using right now? FM. I don't know if that.
I wonder where.
I'm not sure if that's any country or anything. I can't.
Yeah.
What countries start with F? France, Finland, and Fiji. None of those have an M, so it probably isn't from that. But you get the idea. Business idea for countries. If there are any countries listening to this podcast,
sponsor us.
Any world leaders listening to this podcast, you're welcome for the idea. All right. We're hitting time. I think that's it. We're gonna wrap. That was a troll episode.
That was fun. Yeah.
Okay. We'll be back next week. I'm not sure when we're gonna do this. We hosted MINNOW TANK. I still want to follow up with that episode at some point.
Yeah. So if you want to go on and you haven't filled out the form yet, you still have a chance.
But we said we are gonna do it this week, but we're gonna extend that a week or two. We'll see. So yeah, that's it. Mark your calendars for next week. We'll have an episode of some sort.
Yep.
All right. Later. Leave a review.
See
Bye.
you guys. Bye-bye.